Hello and welcome to Kelly's Wordy Reactions. Happy New Year, y'all. We are living, moving, and breathing in 2025, and that is definitely something to celebrate. I wanted to, uh, I wanted to get into talking about this movie that I saw. I saw it a little bit of it again tonight, but the first time I saw it was actually on New Year's Eve. And the funny thing was, I don't think I realized it was going to take me into the new year. But once everything was said and done and the credits had rolled and I had looked at every bit of the movie, I looked at my clock on my phone and it was 11:59. And so I prepared to jump up and say Happy New Year. And that's what I did. And then I was able to go ahead and turn in for the night and go to bed. It was a quiet night of just going ahead and having some good dinner and looking at that movie, but I don't regret it one bit. Um, it was really awesome as far as I was concerned. And so I thought it was so awesome. I wanted to get a little bit more information and talk to you all about it. So let's go ahead and go into looking at the story as well as talking about how the true story was depicted by the Tyler Perry movie, The 6888. So, the true story of the 6888 and Major Charity Adams. And I am taking this reading from biography.com. And the subtitle is The Remarkable Challenges and Accomplishments of an All Female 6,888th Army Battalion during World War II are the subject of the new movie, The 6888, by Tyler Picotti. Oh, that's interesting that the author of the article also is named Tyler. Okay. Let me see if I need to give any more credits. Photos, Jimmy Carter. I don't know. I think I'm done with the credits. Okay. Despite the deadly perils Despite the deadly perils of World War II surrounding them, the 6,888th Central Postal Directory Battalion never wavered from its motto, no male, low morale. In the process, the All Women's Army Regiment offered soldiers a glimmer of hope during the conflict and earned an indelible place in military history. Okay. The remarkable true story of the 6,888th Battalion is now featured in The 6888, a new movie that, I'm sorry, a new movie that began streaming on Netflix Friday. Written and directed by Tyler Perry, The 6888 stars Kerry Washington as real life commanding officer Charity Adams, who helped the U.S. Women's Army Corps unit sort through millions of undelivered letters and packages mailed to American troops. While the feat was daunting enough, the almost entirely black battalion also confronted racism and misogyny, meaning their battle was on three fronts. First, we had to fight segregation. Second was the war. And third were the men. Veteran member Anna Tariq, I think it's Tariq, once said, okay, women weren't allowed to join the Army until 1942, when the United States entered World War II following the December 7, 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. Women weren't allowed to officially serve in support of the Army. That changed on May 14, 1952, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed a bill into law, creating the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps. The name was later shortened to the Women's Army Corps, or WAC. Okay, Women's Army Corps, or Corps. Okay. One of the thousands of women who signed up was Charity Adams, a 23-year-old on summer vacation from teaching junior high math and science in Columbia, South Carolina, when she received an invitation to apply. Her reason for joining was simple. The letter emphasized career and leadership opportunities. She wrote in her memoir, One Woman's Army. Little did she know she would become the first Black woman to serve as a U.S. Army officer and lead the newly formed 6,888th Battalion, also called the 6,888. And let me see. The unit was created in December 1944 in order to alleviate the backlog of mail that had accumulated for U.S. soldiers stationed in Europe, who numbered around 7 million at the time. It was believed that doing so would boost troops' spirits as fighting dragged on. According to the Library of Congress, members of the 6,888th comprised predominantly of African Americans, along with some women of Hispanic and Caribbean descent, ranged in age from 17 to 52. The group received basic combat and gas mask training at Fort Oglethorpe in Georgia, where members faced discrimination. Segregation practices forced them to use separate drinking fountains for colored soldiers, and male officers were known to make crude remarks. But under the leadership of Adams, the 855-member regiment banded together and prepared to prove themselves overseas. The 6,888th worked in miserable conditions. On February 14, 1945, members of the 6,888th arrived in Glasgow, Scotland, and made their way to Birmingham, England, where they would begin their work. It quickly became apparent the segregation they experienced in the United States had accompanied them at their new home. The American Red Cross refused hotel accommodations to Black Auxiliary Corps members and designated a separate facility for them in London, per the Library of Congress. Furious, Adams led a boycott of the organization's facilities. The Red Cross wanted to set up another hotel for the Black WACs, and I promised them that it would be over my dead body before anybody slept there, and nobody slept there to my knowledge, she explained in an oral history for the U.S. Women's Museum. Housed in a former boarding school, the 6,888th was a self-sufficient unit that had its own dining hall, medical staff, and military police who received jiu-jitsu training in lieu of weapons. Still working conditions were less than ideal. At least 6 warehouses full of undelivered mail greeted the battalion in Birmingham because many packages contained spoiled food items such as cake and fried chicken. They grew mildew and attracted scavenging rats. Once the mail was ready to handle, sorters worked in blackout conditions with factory windows covered with dark paint. to shield their presence from German forces. Eye strain became a common malady. Let's go ahead and change. Okay. Wintry conditions provided an added challenge. The warehouses didn't have heaters, meaning clerks had to wear ski pants, field jackets, and other items while working just to keep warm. As a result, the group tried to boost its own morale as much as possible. Members often traveled into the city to go bowling and dancing or eat at nearby restaurants. Locals even invited them into their houses for Sunday dinners, providing a needed respite. The unit sorted the mail in half the allotted time. Determined to meet their goal, members of the 6,888 worked a rotation of 8-hour shifts every day of the week and quickly made progress. Within 3 months, half of their allotted time limit, the unit sorted more than 17 million letters and parcels and erased the mail backlog, according to the Buffalo Soldier Educational and Historical Committee. However, the 6,888 didn't stop there. The group transferred to Rouen, France in June 1945 to sort through additional mail and cleared a 3-year accumulation in just 5 months. By that time, the war had ended in both the European and Pacific theaters. According to the National Archives, the unit was reduced by 300 members. By February 1946, the entirety of the 6,888th returned to Fort Dix in New Jersey, and the battalion was disbanded. The 6,888th Battalion garnered little attention during and immediately after the war. No parade or ceremony feted their accomplishments. It would be almost 80 years until President Joe Biden awarded the group the Congressional Medal of Honor in March 2022. The lack of recognition experienced by these Black women upon their return typified the general indifference and even hostility that Black veterans generally received from the broader American public after the Second World War. Activist Damani Davis later said, but like their Black male counterparts, the overseas experience of these women provided them with the extra motivation and determination to fight even harder against the inequities in their homeland. Still, the 6,888th helped prove women of color could be assets too and had a place within the U.S. Army. According to the Library of Congress, Black women accounted for 5.7% of the WAC during World War II. That total had risen to 34.1% by 2020. Adams prioritized public service as a civilian too. Although the 6,888th returned to the United States with little fanfare, Adams garnered multiple accolades for her leadership. Per the National Women's History Museum, she received a promotion to lieutenant colonel, the highest WAC rank possible under Director Oveta Culp Hobby, in December 1945. After her honorable discharge, only 3 months later, Adams received a Scroll of Honor from the National Council of Negro Women, Incorporated, for distinguished service. Upon returning from Europe, many members of the 6,888th took advantage of the GI Bill to continue their education. This included Adams, who received a Master's of Arts degree from Ohio State University in 1946. She worked multiple jobs in academic administration before marrying Stanley A. Early Jr. in 1949 and taking his last name. Upon the completion of her husband's medical training, the couple settled in Daytona, Ohio in the 1950s. Adams took an active role in the community, serving on the board of directors for the local chapter of the American Red Cross and founding the Black Leadership Development Program that provided education and training for African Americans. In 1996, the Smithsonian National Postal Museum held the ceremony recognizing Adams for her achievements during the war effort. She died a few years later on January 13th, 2002, at age 83. Thanks to Perry's film, an entirely new generation will know the inspiring story of Charity Adams Early and her comrades in the 6888. And you can watch the 6888 on Netflix. It is airing now. And let's see. Lastly, according to Netflix, only 2 veterans of the 6,888th Battalion are still alive today: Fannie McClendon and Anna Mae Robertson. However, it was an April 2022 meeting with veteran Lena Darracott King, who died in January 2024 at age 100, that inspired director Tyler Perry to make the 6888. Okay. And then finally, in an Instagram video, 55-year-old Perry revealed he viewed an unfinished cut of the movie with King just prior to her death. I rushed as soon as I could and got the movie together and brought it to her to see, he said. I sat there beside her with my iPad having her watch the movie, and I tell you, the reaction was so amazing, so incredible. She cried. The video also included part of King's response. Thank you for reminding the world of the women, the Black women's contribution to the world, to liberation, to the war effort, to all that matters, she said. See the history-making legacy of King, Adams, and their comrades in the 6888, now streaming on Netflix. Star Kerry Washington is joined by a cast that includes Susan Sarandon and Oprah Winfrey. All right, so that's all I have for right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not seen the 6888, then I would encourage you to see it. I feel like it was so well done. It was very, just extremely well put together, and I thoroughly appreciated. I enjoyed the movie, but I appreciated the story. I appreciated the history lesson, and I am truly thankful that I got a chance to know about this part of history, and that I got a chance to pass the word along. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.